What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is Monday fun day, as Bitcoin has broken $42,000. And I almost put in a short this morning because I thought, well, if we're going to hit 42,000, then chances are we're going to go down from here. That's kind of what's been expected. We're going to take a quick look. I've got a lot of stuff. I've got some Cardano news I'm going to go over. I'm going to debunk a Cardano sentiment from some of the fools out there that are constantly trying to create these false narratives. I'm going to be debunking something pretty significant here in the near future, and it just got some things to cover. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and dive into it. Going to take a look at some charts. This is my FairDesk account. You can see Bitcoin's price right now is coming down, a little bit of a retrace. I don't think this is going to last very long. We've already wicked down to 41,136, and I'm definitely looking for a trade entry, but I haven't really zeroed in on one yet. I've been doing a lot of research. So this is me using my FairDesk trade sponsor. Join me if you'd like. There are definite bonuses for new signups and things, so check out the link in the description. Also, big announcement. Eternalized.ai. We've seen all of you. We know that so many of you are trying to join this platform. The best thing I can tell you is to join the newsletter for now. This is going to be pretty big. We can tell the numbers are already. I mean, I'm the only one that's really talked about it. We've got a big list of influencers that are on here. We're adding some more stuff. And we are officially launching on December 8th. So basically Monday, for those of you without a calendar, this coming Monday, we are officially going to be launching. Check it out. Bookmark it now. You're definitely going to want to have access to this platform. And press releases are going to be submitted today. And hopefully this builds some really solid momentum because we have a lot of stuff coming, man. So check that out. Now, I have been seeing a lot of different stuff going on as it relates to Cardano. And there's a lot of news, and we're going to dive into some of this news. I don't remember if this was something I actually cared much about. Yeah, Ada Whale. I love Ada Whale, but that's not what I was going to point out. So we're going to look at some Bitcoin charts. I thought I had loaded up here. All right, so here we are. Now, one of the big things that I've been seeing, it's been kind of making me chuckle on Twitter, is how people are trying to FUD Cardano, saying, oh, well, when Bitcoin was $40,000 last time, Cardano was $1. Why isn't it performing, right? And I think it's so ridiculous. So we're going to show you why. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, but I'm going to share it with anybody anyway. So what we're looking at right now is Bitcoin on a weekly chart. And you can see here, this line here, this was called the halving. Okay, where we're at right now in our current timeline is before the halving. Not much happens. I mean, stuff happens. Obviously, everything's been rising a bit prior to the halving, as is common. We haven't seen, now this is the last market cycle. I don't necessarily think we're going to see this, but leading into the halving of the last market, about 63 days before the halving, we had, I think this was a 63, almost 64% drop. I don't think we're going to get that this cycle. I think we're going to be more akin to the 2017 cycle, which I've explained. And not only that, but I think we're going to be far beyond the 2017 cycle. I think this peak is going to make 2017 look like a practice run. And that is truly what I believe. We'll see what happens. I'm always right sometimes. But anyway, if you look at when Bitcoin was $40,000, it was on February, the week of February 8th. So it was basically in this candle here. This is when Bitcoin finally hit $40,000 for the first time. It actually wicked above it in January, but came back down and was in a solid candle in January. Well, at the time, Cardano was $1. It wicked to $1. Okay. So if we look at Cardano's price around the same time, let's see, where are we at? February 2021. Is that about it? So the week of February 8th, 2021, you can see we were at $1. We wicked up to $1.22. Okay. And this was all after the halving. This is when everything started going crazy. And we see the first peak of the market. And then we see the second peak of the market up a little bit higher than the first. So people that are out there saying, oh, when Bitcoin was $40,000, Cardano was $1. What's happening, Cardano? Why are you so slow? We're comparing pre-halving price action to post-halving price action. We're comparing the downtime and the time when typically Bitcoin leads the charge. It leads the market pre-halving. And everybody buys in for the halving day, and everybody wants to have their Bitcoin before the halving. And then they slowly start distributing those profits into the altcoin market, which is when we start seeing the altcoin market starts to run. So, yeah, I just wanted to debunk that whole kind of narrative. I mean, let's just wait and see what happens post-halving, because if we look at Cardano, in the last market cycle against Bitcoin, let's just take a look. ADA, BTC, we'll go Binance, whatever. This is Cardano's price against Bitcoin in the last market cycle, okay? And it went from, so let's say this was the halving. Let's just say, how did Cardano fare against Bitcoin by the halving to the peak? It grew 1,152%. 1,152% against Bitcoin. I think Cardano's going to be fined, all of you moon boys and you, what did Charles call them? Yellow coin maxis, whatever it was. I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, I just, people that don't know any better and they just read this stuff and it creates this doubt. It's all ploy. It's all a ploy. And to the people out there that put out this nonsense, eat it. I just took care of it for everyone, okay? It's not that difficult. That's the thing. A lot of the arguments posed by a lot of these people are so ridiculous. You're also going to see below me that I've set a 200,000 subscriber goal. I really want 200,000 subscribers. I think that's when I'll actually feel appreciated a little bit on YouTube. No, I'm kidding. I know I'm appreciated by all of you guys that follow me and you're with me all the time when I go live and everything else. I really appreciate it. But hit the subscribe button if you're new here, because I do offer a lot of stuff. And you know what? Sometimes I ramble a little bit, but in between my rambles and my rants and my seemingly disorganized chaos, there are always nuggets in there you could take straight to the bank, and that's been proven time and time again. As I always like to say, I'm always right sometimes. So follow me if you will. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button, drop your comments. I love reading them, especially when I'm bored or I want to take a break from everything that I'm doing. So let's go over some Cardano news, shall we? Because some people are going to say, but Crow, what happens post-halving? Why does anybody care about Cardano? Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why they care about Cardano. And we're going to go into it. So Cardano price rises with soaring transactions signaling institutional interest. Crypto analyst Ali provides insight on the latest Cardano transaction, shedding light on the soaring transaction values above $100,000. Recent data shared by a renowned analyst suggests a notable surge in Cardano transactions exceeding $100,000 over the past 3 months alone. This spike is seen as a potential indicator of heightened interest from institutional players and whales. This also indicates an upcoming price surge for ADA. And you know what else I'll say? For those of you out there who, when I originally started averaging back into Cardano, I started buying back in at 50 cents. Many of you guys know the story. I shared it all with you right as I was doing it for the most part. My average buyback price, my average entry price in Cardano was 35 cents. I am officially at profit once again. So from here on, if we don't drop below 35 cents, well, I'm just sitting pretty on profitability. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was known. That's kind of a fun little announcement because as I dollar cost averaged about every month or so for a while, I just continued dropping my average in. And so it was, my thing told me, oh, you're at 35 cents, you're a profit. I'm like, amen. Can I get an amen in a church of Cardano, of which apparently I'm a priest? So anyway, the latest data by Cardano Explorer shows that Epoch 450, 451, and 452, the transactions have significantly seen a rise above 1 point, I'm assuming 1.5 million. The transaction signifies a strong institutional hold on Cardano. I mean, this is just going to continue growing. Recently, the launch of 150 projects and the continuous work on 1,304 projects highlight a vibrant ecosystem. This could be another reason for Cardano's soaring transactions. The creation of a staggering 9.1 million native tokens showcases the extensive customization options available on Cardano. Moreover, the establishment of 81,447 token policies exemplifies the diverse utility of Cardano's asset creation capabilities. This makes Cardano a versatile choice for blockchain projects. Of course it does. A significant milestone in the processing of almost 80 million transactions, affirming Cardano's reliability and growing institutional adoption. And what are we not seeing? We're not seeing a lot of hacks, and we're not seeing a lot of shutdowns. We're not seeing the system having to reboot. We're not seeing it copying and trying to emulate other blockchains because it's a ship full of holes that's constantly being patched. We're not seeing a lot of that stuff. Why? Well, for the same reason that a lot of people out there are complaining about how it's taking Cardano longer than every other blockchain out there to do XYZ. That's because it's being done right the first time. That's all there is to it, folks. There's a right and a wrong way of trying to build a technology that's expected to take over the planet and offer up a variety of powerful use cases, whether it's identification, voting, dApps, applications, all of that stuff. I mean, it's just, again, it's one of those things where we get caught up in this narrative of instant gratification where we want to put, $1 into something and walk away with $1,000 overnight. I'm sorry, folks, but those days are, for the most part, gone. I mean, back in 2017, we would see a lot of that. And you could throw a dart at anything. I thought I was an absolute, prodigy because everything I picked went green. Everything I picked was bullish, went up. It did really well. And then when the reality settled at the peak of the market and projects started to drop to zero, drop to nothing, then we started learning the real valuable lessons as to what projects are valuable and what aren't. You've got speculative projects that rise in a bull market, as everything does. It's just a matter of how many times over is your money multiplied before the crash and it starts dropping to zero again. We started really learning and understanding the meaning of use case, adoption, transactions, throughput, bottlenecking, fees, transaction fees, how those play a role in long-term use. Just all of these different things, interoperability being a major thing, and it's going to continue to grow in prominence. There are just so many variables to blockchains now. And it's one of the reasons why, yes, I might speculate on some layer twos and native assets and things, but ultimately for me, it's that layer one blockchain that means the most. It's the framework. Like I've always said, it wasn't the gold miners that made all the money. It was the people selling the tools to mine the gold. And that's the way I look at Cardano. And honestly, that's the way I look at a lot of these other blockchains, even Solana. Okay, let's be real about it. For people that want to build something that and they don't really have, let's just focus on the positive for once. Solana obviously is doing well in this market for whatever reason. I don't have to like it, but some people that are profiting from it couldn't care less. But I don't support that personally. To each their own. Okay, it's like everything else in the world. If you're not hurting anybody, do you, boo? I don't really give a shit. But when I look at Ethereum and I look at a lot of the problems that it's had and continues to have, and the way it's basically trying to pivot and start, trying to figure out how they want to use Cardano's technology to better the blockchain. And it's like, people still pump Ethereum and they still talk about Ethereum. And it's like, the reality is that there's room for all of us. Whether it's Ethereum or Solana or Cardano or Polkadot or any of them, Cosmos, there's room for all of us to grow. There's still such a small fraction of the population on a global scale utilizing blockchains for anything. And I do believe that we're going to see a time when each blockchain is really relevant to a particular use case. And let's just assume for a minute that Cardano's primary use case is governance, voting systems, international identity, and NFTs, and maybe some Web3 gaming. I'm all for that. That's fine. Those are use cases that are literally going to take over the world. But I think ultimately the developments, especially with new developments like Midnight, Those are just going to change the game in finance. Finance and identity. I think that we're going to see some really significant applications that are going to drive significant mass adoption just with Midnight alone. So, to each their own. I think especially nowadays, I feel like I'm over the tribalism, if I'm to be honest. I think I'm over constantly trying to defend and attack and just the bobbing and weaving. It's like a constant fight, a constant struggle. And, I don't have to agree with the foundations of every blockchain. I don't really have to agree with the way they do business. But I do believe that ultimately there's going to come a day when we're going to realize, there's room for everybody. There's really no sense for us all to be attacking one another. There's really no sense in any of that. I think what makes the most sense is that we all start to try and figure out ways to unite one another, work together, and ultimately help usher in new eras of adoption overall. Because if one project does well, all projects do well. If Bitcoin does well, we all do well. If it doesn't matter. And I know that day is never going to come because it's the nature of things. Like anything else, I feel like all of these crypto tribes are driven by narratives created through paid advertising. And nowadays, folks, let's just be real. It's all paid advertising. I don't care. I don't care what you're reading or what you're seeing, one way, shape, or form. It's some form of paid advertising, whether it's a lenient article about this project because they spend a lot of ad dollars, or it's a damning project for a damning article about this project because they don't spend any advertising dollars in their free game. The one thing that I've realized too is because cryptocurrency, it's not possible to advertise on like YouTube or Google or whatever. It's free game. We can speak our mind. We can say we don't like this project, we don't like that project, because nobody's paying for advertising in direct channels like that. So it's all free game. You're really only seemingly censored on platforms when we're affecting somebody's ad dollars. And that's really what it seems to boil down to. And that's why I think crypto is fair game, like everything else. You can buy a narrative for crypto. I mean, you could easily buy a narrative for any cryptocurrency you want. You spend a few grand, get some articles written out there, let social media take its course. And that's one of the reasons why I've still remained, because I call it as I see it. And I do believe I can still do that without being a proponent of the tribalism that's continuing to divide the space as a whole. I do believe it's time for us all to work together. We're all going to do very, very well over the next year and a half. Why don't we figure out ways to make that even better for more people? So until next time, guys, I'm the Crypto Crow. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll be back soon. Until then, crow your coins.